Hello! Ha ha ha! How about a quickie? Welcome to Game of Plays. Commander Keen. The first. Hence why I typed Keen 1. Version 1.31 it looks like. Well, it's the one I got off Steam. As in, I have it on Steam. Hey! Welcome! So, you thought I'd gone? I never left. This is an Apogee presentation of id Software production. Oh, right. So, this game doesn't have any music? At least the first 3 games do not. When I get to that other sort of trilogy, we can worry about it then. So you gotta get your ship parts back. Even though they're made of, like, not Maverick, they're made of MacGyvering materials. I'm sure. There's Immanuel Kant, he leaves his philosopher... he left his philosophy books around, it gives him life. Which is weird, considering the existentialism, but never mind. I'm assuming that's what it was. I don't remember, actually. That might have been someone else I'm thinking of. That's okay. Anyway, that's Immanuel Kant on a book. Because we're so smart, isn't that right? Alright, here's a gun. Use it sparingly, because it's like, you only get like 5 shots per gun. Don't forget that. I will purposely be trying to get points so that I have enough lives to deal with all this. Even though at certain points I'll stop and not have to worry about that kind of thing, but hey. Some of these signs, well, they're in English. They're just not in the way as you know it. You might recognize that language if you play Minecraft. I don't know if they still kept it in there, by the way, because I don't keep up with that. I don't keep up with these forever games that change every month. Jeez. Got a nice little pizza. Anyway, if you look at the pause menu, which I'll keep mixing up with the shooting button, you can see how many lives, or you can see how many lives you have, and you can see how many points it takes to get another life. There's no straight 1-up item. That would be changed in 4. But, yeah. Look at the blankness of the gray and the purple. That is the way of the DOS, you know. And the way of the DOS is to have your humans be chalky white. Trust me on this. Done! See that? I'm so fucking done. Alright, these little cave things, they're easy. Honestly, it takes away from the fact that this is a shareware title, because it's like, you don't get that much content as you would think. He's telling me about the Standard Galactic Alphabet, which is what all the signs is. There's actually a guide within the 3rd game that tells you how all the letters work. But you can look it up, and you'll find out what all these things are saying. Like, for example, the exit door obviously has an exit sign on it. I forget what that one says. But it's just like a warning sign, you know. I think that's pretty obvious there. Though it's odd that the Standard Galactic Alphabet is derived from just straight up English, but it's just for convenience of the programmers instead of making up a language like Klingon or something. You know? Hey, those little Yorp guys, you don't ever have to shoot them, unless they're trying to push you, but I find that I never really have to do this. Meanwhile, those 2-eyed guys, yeah, I'll shoot them any day. They can bull rush you, it's not fun. Also, they can freak you out if you're not expecting them and they're coming off the side of the screen. I just remembered something strange about this game, and it's about how some of the enemies move, or basically all the enemies, as opposed to this environmental trap, but all the enemies kind of have RNG movement, I think? I'm not sure, really. I don't understand how they move, is what I'm trying to tell you. Except for the fact where they home in on you at times, but that seems to be decided on a whim, and it's different for every enemy. It's not like I've opened up and ripped up the code. I'm sure someone who's done the source port can tell me, but yeah. Speaking of, would love to do the source port sometime, because that has, I think that has online multiplayer, and that might be interesting to try out. I don't know. Doop! What was it called? Commander Genius? Yeah, that's right. Sure, I could just dial that up somewhere. Hello, Mr. Lollipop. Lolly me pop. Pop me lolly. Oh, here's that teddy bear that you see in the Secret Agent games. It's worth the most points, so obviously that means we're going to have to hide it in the most bullshit ways fashionable. I will not try to kill myself in order to get a teddy bear. I'll tell you that right now. I'll let good old Teddy Roosevelt give me his bears from beyond the grave. That's why they're called teddy bears, you know. It's all a presidential campaign to remind us of a president. Speaking of bull rushing. Bull rush president, yeah. So this game is American. I play American games. It's not like every DOS game I play is American, but, you know, this duality of Gaming Wolf is DOS and Nintendo, or just, you know, going from American to Japanese. Usually. I've played some European stuff sometimes. It depends. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot for me to explain what's going on. I guess I could explain the weirdness of that jump, where I kind of have to wait for him to bend the knees in order to jump again after landing. And some of these sound effects, which are pure PC speaker, by the way. So if you play this on an old style IBM, and you have the PC speaker up, you'll hear all this shit through it, and it's gonna... The texture of the sounds is a lot different coming straight through the actual speaker as opposed to emulation. That's just because of an analog/digital difference. You can't actually... I mean... I guess it might be a similar effect to the MT32 emulation. That's not present here. But it's kind of an in-between between, you know, having not music and then Sound Blaster/AdLib and then MT32s and then MIDIs, or, you know, whether it's FM synthesized or Wave MIDI synthesized. This is really just a little podcast this time. I got nothing on this, on these greens and reds. What else do you want to know? When did I first play this game? I'm trying to remember what kind of IBM it was, but it was definitely it must have been a 386, I swear it was. I don't think it was good enough to... No, maybe it was a 286, because I don't think it was good enough to run Doom. And I could only play Commander Keen 4 and CGA at the time, but I think that was because I had only the shareware version, since the other game, Armageddon Machine, didn't have CGA, to my knowledge. But it must have been a slow machine, because it was very, it was hard to run the Catacomb 3D game. Seeing it run now, seeing it go so smooth and being like, oh yeah, must have been because I had an old-ass machine that wasn't even good for this time, but it's like, you know, technically that machine wasn't even for me, but I ended up adopting as my own at a time, but that's okay. I got plenty of computers now. Speaking of, I'm still saving up for another one. When this chip shortage ends, I'm going right for it. It's not like I need a super fancy one. I just need, like, something that can run stuff from at least before a few years ago. Oh, right. I guess I'll comment on this. So, I don't know what's going on with what was going on in the image just now, but I remember it always happening, and it freaked me out. It looks like it's just like some image memory or something. Something with the RAM of this game. And it's just showing me all the sprites or something. But I'm reminded of this glitch. I think it's only in particular versions of this game, where you're on the overworld, and you press like the function keys in a certain number or order or something, and then you get taken to this garbage overworld where you try to select a thing, and then you just die instantly. I don't know if I have footage of this glitch in action, but I think I might... That sounds like something for the miscellaneous playlist. If you ever want to see that. Just something I used to do to fuck the game up, because it was so easy to do. That's the sound that plays when you get a needed item. So when you get all four of them, the game ends. I'll make sure to do all the levels before that happens. Usually the last one you do is pretty much the final one anyway. You can tell by how it's set up, so we don't have to worry about that one. It's also got a particular shape, so you know which one it is. We'll save that one for last. But instead of trying to do the level number so stubbornly, as I did, according to the... What was it, the Shikadi Wiki, with Shikadi being based on the antagonist in 5. So the Shikadi Wiki, or, you know, Keen Wiki, whatever. On that, it shows the level order on the map. And, well, it doesn't account for... I know the first thing I did after, like, level 1 was to go right for the pogo, which you should, because otherwise you can't get those lollipops at the top left. And really, it is kind of weird that you have to go and get it, because in the other two games, they just give it to you by default. It's like, yeah, we shouldn't let him go get that. Just give him the pogo stick outright. It's like, yeah, probably should allow that for me. If Commander King was more of a Metroid-style game, I'd certainly say keep the pogo as separate power-up, but nope. But early titles like this are revealing of the typical DOS level design. Like, notice how even though it's side-scrolling, there's a lot of vertical action going on. I don't mean like how Mario 3 does it. I mean, you can still go backwards in Mario 3, but there's a lot of going around, like, squares of mazes. Really a good setup for how first-person shooters would be. Yeah. So Apogee was the publisher, and id was the developer. Little did they know that id was just going to knock this shit out the park! And this game kind of did. I mean, it was the DOS equivalent of Mario, and you ask anybody, and it pretty much was at first. Because they're just like, hey, bring Mario to the computer. We don't know why that happened, but you know what I think it happened? It's probably because Japan already had the family computer, the Famicom, so they didn't feel the need to westernize it if they're already making it an NES console. So, I don't know if that was their actual decision, but there you have it. Just going to a little backstory of what I think I know and what I think I don't know. You really should just be looking up wikis and other informative videos, but it's good to talk about. Excuse me while I go through the function keys, remembering which one's the save one! You can continue in this game the next time you play. Yeah, it's straightforward. It saves on the map. You don't get this... It's not like a save state or anything, but it certainly helps with, keeping myself alive. See you soon.